Alright, curved quilt blocks, creative seasons, natural dyeing, and yeah, just making quilts with natural dyed fabrics. Those are some of the things we'll go over in this video. Hello friends! We have spring in the air, and I have been neglecting my creative pursuits for too long. Actually, I've been thinking about this concept of how there are different seasons for creative work and hobbies. How some years you're all go, engrossed, learning a ton. And other years, or times of year perhaps, you might not touch it at all, whatever your hobby is. But the amazing thing is, once you're finally ready to pick it back up, that sewing or dyeing or woodworking or whatever you're interested in, it's often like no time has passed at all. In fact, you might be even better at your craft than when you last did it, or you may look at things in a slightly different way. Well, I haven't done much in a couple of months, but the itch to do something is real. Well, I guess I lied. I have done something. I've worked very slowly on this quilt top. You know, like 1 square per week or every other week. But a little bit every now and then adds up, and now I've got this rather sizable top. Not complete, I just created the middle sections, the little turned pieces in the middle here. And it still needs a bit more, this top, but it's getting there. The idea for this quilt began because I had a lot of goldenrod dyed fabric. And while I like yellow, I think it's a bit of a tricky color. In my home I don't have a lot of bright yellow, even though I do think it does have its charm in the right way. But I was struggling with the idea of using a lot of yellow in a quilt. I also was looking for something rather easy, like in a mental way, because I had a lot of other things going on and I couldn't like focus too hard on this. So a very complicated pattern wasn't going to cut it. I wanted a fun, simple design. And after looking around, I found some inspiration and proceeded to make this. I added a little bit of indigo, little blue, to break up the yellow. But in general, I rather like the brightness of it and how it incorporates all the different shades. So basically I was thinking that it would be kind of cute to have slight like a whimsical taste. I've been seeing these pop up a lot on Instagram and different places, these kind of curved half moon borders, and I love them. And I've never done it before. And I thought, like, how hard can it be? Apparently pretty hard if you don't know what you're doing. But anyway. In some ways it seemed easy, however when I was trying to figure out how to do it, it was actually quite hard. Well, there are a lot of tutorials out there. I found one and yeah, finally clicked. So we have 1 1/4, or more like 1 1/2, I guess. 1 1/2 inches to... So, and we start this in 3/4. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, let's just do a quick lesson on how to do this, because it is a little tricky. First of all, I have my template here, and what's interesting is that they're not equal. It's like this template is if we went down in the circle a little bit. So it is as if we had actually put this on the, like in here slightly. Okay, so don't just make two equal patterns and think they're gonna match up, they're not. Okay, so I have this one here, and then I have this one here. So now we wanna get these together. So how do we actually do that? So it may feel kind of counterintuitive how you do it. So first of all, think about right sides together, which is this way, right? So how do you do that? Well, you actually put this here, and then you sew a little bit at a time, and then you move, and you move, and you move until you have sewn all the way to the edge. And at that point, you have this. To make this piece just slightly larger to account for any discrepancies. Now, obviously there are some cool rulers out there that have curves and that make it easy to cut different shapes. I don't have one of those, and in general I don't like buying things when I'm just getting started on something, like especially if there's some other way to do it. Maybe not quite as efficient, but yeah, scissors work. And imagine, on the frontier, did they have fancy carved rulers and special equipment? No, they would have loved a rotary cutter. They would have loved a modern sewing machine. Spring definitely seems like the time to get started back on your projects, don't you think? It's like there's a whole different energy, and if you were in some sort of hibernation during the dark months or focused on other things, I think now is a good time to come back out and play. Although sometimes the threshold to get over can seem just enormous. Has that ever happened to you? Just picking up some paint and paper, getting to that point can seem too much if you're not in that flow. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. But if you are one of those people, it's nice to get started on just something. It doesn't have to be too perfect or too ambitious. Just get that ball rolling. Because once you're in it, it's a whole lot easier to keep going. But back to the quilt. It's a bit of a sunshine quilt, isn't it? I really like the idea of the curved border. I feel like it breaks it up a bit, takes those squares and adds a bit of fun and softness. This wasn't as hard once I got the hang of it. Well, really nothing ever is, right? It's actually quite simple, and it's quite fun. If you haven't tried this yet, I would, definitely recommend it. In an emergency, I did dry some goldenrod last season, so I could do another dye bath. But I haven't gotten into dyeing fabric for a while, so that's not in my brain right now. Although, for the backing of this quilt, I was thinking about maybe using like some sort of indigo combination, rather heavy on the blues. So I probably need to get dyeing soon anyway. I often feel like before I get into like natural dyeing again, there's this I need to step over that threshold. I need to get into the process. Once I'm in it, it's fine, it's not a big deal. But it's that climbing over and getting started on it. And if you were wondering why my goldenrod was such a mess, I actually used the dried stalks for I Ching readings. I was getting into playing with I Ching and needed yarrow stalks, dried yarrow, but I didn't have any. But I figured, you know what, I do have dried goldenrod. So here we go. Of course, this is quite the separate note, of course. Actually, one of the reasons why I decided to make some more yellow is because the indigo vat is now on my mind. And one of the things I wanted to try was to overdye yellow with blues and get some different greens. And how am I supposed to do that without much yellow to work with? Last time I did goldenrod, I was shocked by the intensity of the color I was able to get. I'm curious if I'll get that again with the dried material. I mean, you would imagine so, but I don't know. I haven't tried, you know, using dried goldenrod before. These though, I love them. I love them so much. And it's like this opens up a whole new world, because I'm thinking, wow, I can make circles now. You know? I can make ovals in a quilt or something, you know, as a whole different, you know, for a separate quilt. But I just love them so much. They're so cute, so different. Too excited about this. Now, background dyeing. In other words, fabric dyeing while you do other things is the best sort of dyeing. So here we have my first dye bath of the year, using my dried goldenrod. After all, I did get back to working on this quilt. What's starting a new dye bath? It pretty much takes care of itself once you got it situated. Now, I actually made a whole video about dyeing with goldenrod, so for more information on this process, you can check that out. You know, nothing makes me happier or more content than having a dye bath going. It's a bit like having a stew cooking on the stove. Something is happening, yet little effort from you is actually involved. I'm going to leave the fabric in the pot overnight and let it set. So, where are we at this point? Figured out how to make half circles. Made significant progress on the quilt, still have a little bit to go. I got some beautiful shades of yellow out there, and I was gonna, you know, throw away this bath. But then I was like, you know what, there's a lot of nice pigment still in here. And I was thinking that, okay, I want to have stuff to overdye with indigo. I also want to do madder root soon, so then it'd be cool if I had some other stuff that I could overdye with a madder. So in that sense, I don't care if I'm getting like super bright shades. It's just like a starting point for other like dye work. And I think that is like a thing with natural dyeing. It's like a continuous process if you want to play with colors and kind of discover like different things. Now, in terms of this quilt here, I do think that yeah, very happy about this. I finished about half. I'm gonna do the other sides as well. I'm debating about the binding here, whether to do yellow or maybe even more of this kind of color, or go blue. I haven't decided yet, so we'll see. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer in the comments. Let me know what you're working on this spring season. Have a good one.